What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Duran Duran, and we're back with some more live Duran Duran. We're going to go back to the 1995 tour and the performance at Mountainview, California. I've mentioned it before. This was a concert performance and ultimately, as I now understand it, a tour brought to my attention by Adam that sports a rock heavier sound, a faster and more rock-oriented interpretation of a number of their tunes. I've enjoyed going through the handful that I have already. And yeah, ultimately, I do enjoy, although Adam himself was just talking about how, if you were a Duran fan over the course of the years and the decades, the fact that they did reconfigure their sound on different tours and you were constantly waiting to see how are they going to perform these songs now, or what is their new stylistic approach, on this album and this tour and so on, that it was, a bit more complicated because you never quite knew what they were going to do or what you were going to get, and they weren't really predictable in that way. I absolutely do get that. I do listen to some punk bands that have reinvented their sound or just, gradually evolved into different sounds over time, and there have been cases where I get an album and it's like, I like it, but, it's different, and it takes you a little while, and eventually you're like, this is fantastic, I enjoy it. But it's a bit of a challenge because it's not what you expected it to be. So I do absolutely get that and appreciate that, even though I'm going through their diversity and variety in a condensed format and sort of knowing that there is so much variety and, appreciating it more and more as I go through it. But very early in the Duran Deep Dive, it was brought to my attention that this is, if not the most diverse, certainly one of the most diverse bands out there. But yeah, going through that experience must be a challenge on some level if you like one particular flavor of their sound more than others. But ultimately, we're going to listen to their cover of White Lines, which is from the Thank You album, the tribute album, or cover album, I should say, 1995. And on the album version, I believe Melle Mel performed with them. I don't know if that'll be the case, on this tour or even more specifically in this show. But yeah, what can you say? It's an iconic tune, the original. I enjoyed Duran's interpretation of it, and I enjoyed the, basically filtering it through their sound, but it's still, you could easily recognize it if you knew the original but had never heard the cover, where, some covers depart more significantly sonically or in terms of the overall style. But yeah, ultimately looking forward to hearing it perhaps cranked up a little bit in terms of the guitar and or the rock flavor relative to the studio version, perhaps. So let's find out. This is Duran Duran's cover of the tune White Lines, originally by Melle Mel, and this is from the 1995 tour, I believe, in support of Thank You, and the performance is in Mountain View, California. Please! Please! Rock! Please! Rock! Please! Rock! Put your hands in the air! Put your hands in the air! Put it up! Doing the high parts can't be easy at this point. It does feel a bit edgier. It's him, right? It's Melle Mel. Feels like a pumped up performance. Everyone's feeling it, pushing it. Get out of here. The twisted melodic destruction of a guitar.
He's out of bail and out of jail, and that's the way it is. Okay. Shnootz. Okay. Shnootz. Okay.
Who's that guy? I'll wait till the end. Warren's guitar playing is what I big finish. Awesome. I love it. It may be outside the lines a little bit more here and there.
See you next summer. Thank you. What are you saying? Thanks a lot.
But I feel like a lot of live performances, they push the envelope a little bit. And I've talked about it before, but I enjoy both sides of that. I enjoy a band that, wow, I mean, this could very well be the CD. It sounds just like what they sound like. But I do also like, damn, he really pushed his vocals farther there. Even if sometimes that means, their voice cracks a bit or they're, a bit outside the pocket and exactly when the vocal comes in. So I get it. Live performances, sometimes they're imperfect in ways, but it's like, I feel like it's a give and take in terms of the energy, because sometimes the energy and the interaction with the crowd, it makes certain moments hit a little bit different than they do on the studio version, even if musically and conceptually, or technically rather, the studio version might be more on point. But what I was going to say about Warren's guitar playing, it's like there are times where I feel, and perhaps for guitarists, this is as big a praise as I can think of. But there are moments where his playing reminds me of the experimental, edgy, really eccentric, exploratory playing of someone like Hendrix. Someone who, he'll make crazy, almost dissonant chords that linger, but it's part of this larger eccentric manner of playing, and a real desire to sort of, use the axe in ways that few others do. So there are moments where, yeah, he's playing and it's just like, I don't know, it's a type of guitar playing that I feel like, maybe many aspire to, but not many are able to, where it's like, I feel like it's this entire sonic world just through one instrument. So, yeah, big ups to him. And yeah, just a really cool performance of, again, a massive hit song. So, a cover album, sometimes, if there are certain tunes on there that people don't know, generally speaking, where it's like, it might be a cool tune, but maybe the feeling of it being a cover is a bit lost. But this is the type of track that surely, even if people aren't really into hip hop or, early hip hop culture, White Lines, it's a tune so many people will know. So, yeah, the idea of covering it, I think, was a good choice in the first place. So let me know what you think of the song or this performance. I will see you next time. Peace.